गिरिवर जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानन्दना व्रजशनरञ्जना यमुनातीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी। यशोदा यशोदानन्दना व्रजशनरञ्जना यमुनातीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी। यशोदा जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा जय कुंज बिहारी योगधर्म श्रील हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। सावेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतेरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto. Fourth canto, 13th chapter. The descendants of Dhruva Maharaj, text 36. Text 36 doesn't have purport, so just read the verse and translation. Tasmat purusha uttasto hemamali amalam hara hiranmayena patrena siddham adhaya payasam. Translation. As soon as the oblation was offered in the fire, a person appeared from the fire altar wearing a golden garland and a white dress. He was carrying a golden pot filled with rice boiled in milk. Text 37. This we will recite together. Savipranumato Raja Grihitvanchalinaudanam Avagraya Mudayukta Pradat Patnya Udaradi. Savipranumato Raja Grihitvanchalinaudanam Avagraya Mudayukta Pradat Patnya Udaradi. Savipranumato Raja Grihitvanchalinaudanam Avagraya Mudayukta Pradat Patnya Udaradi. Savipranumato Raja Grihitvanchalinaudanam Any Matajis? Janchalinaudanam Avagraya Mudayukta Pradat Patnya. Word translation. Sa he Vipra of the Brahmanas Anumataha taking permission, Raja the king, Grihitva taking, Anjalina in his joint palms, Odanam rice boiled in milk, Avagraya after smelling, Muda with great delight, Yukta fixed, Pradat offered, Patnai to his wife, Udaradi liberal minded. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The king was liberal, and after taking permission from the priest, he took the preparation in his joint palms, and after smelling it, he offered a portion to his wife. Purport. The word Udaradi is significant in this connection. The wife of the king, Sunita, was not fit to accept this benediction. Yet the king was so liberal that without hesitation he offered to his wife the boiled rice in milk prasad received from the Yajna Purusha. Of course, everything is designed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As will be explained in later verses, this incident was not very favorable for the king. Since the king was very liberal, the Supreme Personality Godhead, in order to increase his detachment from this material world, willed that a cruel son be born of the queen, so that the king would have to leave home. As stated above, Lord Vishnu fulfills the desires of the karmis as they desire, but the Lord fulfills the desire of a devotee in a different way, so that the devotee may gradually come to him. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Dami buddhi yogam tam ena mam upayantite. The Lord gives the devotee the opportunity to make progress further and further, so that he may come back home, back to Godhead. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatadeshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratsve Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vacha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangun langayate girim yat kripaha tamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam. Hare Krishna. So before I start, I seek the blessings of His Grace Anandamai Prabhu and all the assembled Vaishnavas, so that I can speak on this verse to glorify the Lord for my purification of heart. So in this particular chapter, the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj, we are hearing the story of King Anga, who was a great devotee of the Lord. So he was basically sonless, so he performed a sacrifice wherein he wanted a son to be produced. But then the demigods were not coming to accept the shares of the sacrifice. So he asked the Brahmanas what is the reason. So they said, actually you have been very devotional, you have not committed any sins. In the previous verse they have mentioned, even in the mind you have not committed any sinful activity. Very important to note. But we can see that in your previous life you performed sinful activities, due to which, in spite of your having all these qualifications, you have no son. So many times people are bewildered about why this is happening in my life. Many people have this question, right? But they don't have answer because they don't know the concept of karma, right? Like Manduka Muni also, he was surprised why the Yamadutas caught him and they were about to prick his eyes. So then Yamaraj said, childhood you did something, right? So, Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Shri Shri Jagannath Balde Subhadra Mai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai. So, even in our own life, many times we are surprised about why such things are happening or suddenly something comes up. So, the answer is here. So, we can't see our past, right? But here the Brahmanas were powerful enough to know what was the past of King Anga, and also they were able to read his mind that he is not even committing sins at the level of mind. So he was requesting them for a son. So they said, okay, don't worry, you do this yajna, do this sacrifice and pray to the Supreme Lord for the son, and surely the Lord will fulfill your desire, right? So and then here in these verses, here it is mentioned that after the sacrifice is being performed, then the person appears from this fire altar and he gives this pot filled with rice boiled in milk. So same way we see King Dashrath also performing similar sacrifice like Putra Kameshti Yajna. He was also sonless, and with the help of all the Brahmanas, the priests, so he performed that sacrifice, and then same way personality appeared and he gave the sweet rice, pot of sweet rice. And then it is mentioned King Dashrath had 350 queens, and out of that he chose 3, Kaikeyi, Sumitra and Kaushalya. Yeah, the 3. So why he chose only these 3? Why not he distribute to others? Because they were, out of all those, they were the most qualified in terms of devotional qualities. So that's why he chose the 3 out of all. So here, but here Anga, it seems he had only one wife. So he gave her. So here it is mentioned that this Sunita, she was the daughter of death personified. Somehow our King Anga, he married this Sunita, and she was not qualified in that sense. So that's why it is mentioned that king was very liberal, because although she is not qualified, still he gave that remnants of the Lord, that sweet rice to her. So, and because of her not being qualified, because she being the daughter of death personified, that's why the son born out of her also was not qualified. Prabhupada mentions in the later purports that the son gets the qualities of the mother and the maternal side. So he got the qualities of death personified. That's why in childhood only he is killing people. While playing, he was killing other children. So Prabhupada mentions that he got the qualities of his grandfather, who was death personified, like that. So here we see that all the kings in general in the past, they would not go to some hospitals for artificial fertilization and all those. Nowadays we see so much. Not to some doctors or something, but they would approach the Brahmanas and seek their guidance. Not only in this case, but in so many cases, whenever there is a problem, they don't independently take decision. They were Raj Rishis, so they were great devotees of the Lord. So they would always take guidance of the Brahmanas. And these Brahmanas, they are not ordinary Brahmanas, as we saw also. They were very highly qualified. So that's why they would always approach these kind of Brahmanas who were well versed in the scriptures and seek their guidance. And here also, before giving that rice to her wife, he took the permission of the priest and then only gave. It's not that chalo aa gaya de do, not like that. He took the permission. So even King Ambarish Maharaj, we see that when Durvasa Muni came, when he was supposed to break the fast, so he didn't take decision on his own, right? Anyway, he's not there. He seems he's gone somewhere, so let me take something and break. No, he again asked the, whoever priests are available, and then with their permission only he took. So this is one very important thing to note, that whenever we need to take some very important decision in our lives, we should not think I can independently take decision, because those decisions can change our life completely, right? One wrong turn, or we can see when we travel also on a highway, one wrong turn will end up in some other place only, right? If you are supposed to go to Bombay and somewhere, if somebody goes somewhere else, he may end up in some other village or town, right? So whenever we are not sure, or when something is very important, especially, so it is always important to take the guidance of those superiors who can properly guide us. And then with their blessings, if we go, even if there is some problem, still they will protect us, because their blessings will protect us. We see in the pastime of King Priyavrat, he was a brahmachari for a long time, and then later Narada Muni and our Swayambhu Manu, Swayambhu Manu especially comes and requests him, because there is no further kings. They request him to get married. So, but he says, Maya is very powerful, so I may get entangled in married life. So then as Brahma and Swayambhu Manu, they bless him that don't worry, we give our blessings, you will be protected. So it is mentioned that King Priyavrat, later on when he got married, he was attracted to his wife and got little entangled. But because he got the blessings of his superiors, so he was protected. So this is one thing which we need to note in this particular purport. And here Prabhupada is mentioning one more important point, that everything is designed by the Supreme Personality Godhead, especially for his devotees. So this incident was not very favorable for the king. So because a cruel son was born. Actually, we see in many pastimes, when the wife is not favorable, actually sometimes it becomes a benediction, like we see in the pastime of Ramanujacharya. His wife, she was a Brahmana lady, but she was what we call orthodox Brahmana lady, and she could not identify the great souls. When Ramanujacharya would call various great devotees, his gurus, like once he had called Kanchipurna. Apparently he was not from a higher caste, but he was so elevated that he was able to talk with the Lord when he was worshipping. So obviously we can understand his exalted position. So once he had invited Kanchipurna to his house for prasad, and he thought that by this I will get the remnants of Kanchipurna. Actually Kanchipurna was not willing to give initiation also to this Ramanujacharya, but he thought, okay, at least like this I can serve him and get his remnants, I will get his mercy. So he invited him for prasad. Then Ramanujacharya actually goes to bring him, but somehow Kanchipurna comes from a different route. So when Kanchipurna comes to the house of Ramanujacharya, this lady, wife of Ramanujacharya, she makes him sit outside the house only, in the veranda, not inside house also. She thinks, oh, he is from a lower caste, how can I allow to enter the house? He'll contaminate the whole house, and again I have to clean the whole house. So he makes him sit outside in the veranda only, and with the help of her maid servant, she serves him. And then after he finishes, he tells the maid servant, you clean that place thoroughly, and then you only take that whatever is left. And then thoroughly everything was clean. And then she again washes the whole kitchen and again cooks also. So then Ramanacharya comes running that, okay, where is Kanchipurna? Somehow I missed him. He said, yeah, he has come, he has gone, and I thoroughly washed everything now, and I am freshly cooked for you. So then, where is at least, okay, where are the remnants? He said, I gave it to the maid servant. So Ramanacharya becomes so angry that she is not at all able to identify the greatness of Kanchipurna. He was very angry with her. Then same way, when Mahapurna, another great devotee, he was also a guru of Ramanacharya. Ramanacharya had so many gurus. So he invited him to stay in his house. And Mahapurna also was not from a higher caste like that Brahmana lady. So one day, while the wife of Mahapurna was drawing the water from the well, so after drawing the water, we pour in the whatever vessel. So while pouring, what happened? Some water fell in the vessel of that lady, wife of Ramanacharya's vessel. So immediately she became so angry. Oh, it is contaminated. Now I have to throw this vessel. I can't use this. How can water from your vessel fall in mine? Can't you see? You should be careful, like that. She starts chastising her left and right. And she also says, my husband, he doesn't know whom to keep at house, whom not to keep. How can he keep people like you? And so heavily she chastises her. So then she goes and tells Mahapurna. So Mahapurna says, okay, I think better we leave this place. And without telling Ramanacharya, actually they leave that place and go back to Sri Rangam. So again Ramanacharya comes. So again he realizes that, oh my Lord, he says that they have gone. Then he becomes very upset again with her. So finally one day one beggar comes to their house asking for remnants, means asking for some food. So that lady chastises him very heavily and goes, means that beggar was going very sad. So that time Ramanacharya comes the other side and he tells, so what happened? She says, no, that lady was chastising me very heavily. So he said, you don't worry, you'll get very nice food. You should just go and tell him one thing, then she will give you the best of foods. So he said, what should I tell? Said, you go and tell her that your father, he has called you and your husband for her sister's marriage. So when she will hear that message, she will be so happy that she will be going to her maternal house. So then she will give you whatever best food available because you have told her very nice news. So this person goes and tells her. Then immediately she gives her nice food. And then eventually when Ramanacharya comes, he tells, I want to go, you also come. He says, I will come after some time. So she immediately packs her luggage and goes. Then Ramanacharya thinks that this is a wonderful opportunity now, she is no more here. And then he takes sannyas on that particular day in Kanchipuram from the hands of Kanchipurna. So, and he was named as Yatiraj after that. So Ramanacharya, because his wife was not favorable, he took sannyas. Same way we see another story of Srila Prabhupada also in his own life. When his wife also was not so favorable, means she used to support little bit, but not so much. So at one point of time when Prabhupada wrote Bhagavad Gita, so at one point of time he was not finding that Bhagavad Gita. So he was searching, and finally he asked her that, where is my Bhagavad Gita? He said, yesterday somebody has come for selling tea biscuits or something, so I gave it away. I thought this is useless anyway, lying down here, so I got some tea biscuits or something like that by this book. So again Prabhupada had to write the entire Bhagavad Gita because of her. And Prabhupada asked, you want, she was drinking tea, and also one point of time Prabhupada says, you want tea or me? She says, I want tea. Prabhupada thinks that, okay, maybe I have to, in the sense, this is an indication that no, better I leave her and fully dedicate myself in the service of the Lord. So means these are few stories telling that how a devotee sees the opportunity, means when his wife is not so favorable, he sees it as an opportunity or arrangement of Lord and tries to dedicate his life in the service of the Lord. So here Prabhupada is mentioning that for the non-devotees, for the karmis, Lord Vishnu fulfills the desires as they desire, but for the devotees, Lord fulfills the desire of a devotee in a different way, so that the devotee may gradually come to him. So what is the different way? That is different for different devotees. It's not that it is unique or same thing for everyone, right? Like Narada Muni, the boy, Shudrani's boy, he was only 5-year-old small boy, and it is said that his mother was the only shelter for this boy. There is no father mentioned, nor any relatives. Like sometimes if father, mother die, there are some relatives also, uncles and all, who take care and all. But there is nothing mentioned like that in Bhagavatam. The only shelter for that boy was her mother. And she was very, very affectionate to this boy. So we know this pastime where she and that boy got the opportunity to serve the Bhakti Vedantas, and he served very meticulously, heard from them, and he got all their mercy. So after that, we hear in the Bhagavatam that how this lady, this mother, was bitten by a snake and she died. So that was, it's mentioned that was an arrangement of the Lord, so that this boy, who already made lot of advancement, he can completely take shelter of the Lord, because that was the last snare of Maya, or we can say last material attachment that boy had, in the sense her mother, that shelter. So now Lord wanted to give him an opportunity by which he can take complete shelter of him. So then this boy, after his mother left, so he saw that this is the arrangement of the Lord, and then he gave up, he left that village, he went to the forest, and he was not at all distracted by any of the things of this world, and he fully worshipped the Supreme Lord. And eventually we know that he became Narada Muni, like that. So same way in Prabhupada's life also, when his factory got burned, so he did not think that why Lord is doing like this. So he remembered the verse, Yasyaham anugranami harisheshan janam shanai. So for those devotees whom Lord shows his special mercy, causeless mercy, he takes away all their material attachments. So actually a devotee who is rightly situated, when some material attachments are taken away, A devotee doesn't get bewildered, or he doesn't get frustrated, or he doesn't become angry that why Lord is doing like this. But he sees it as an opportunity to firmly take shelter of the Lord. So that is how a devotee sees. Even we see King Parikshit also, when he was cursed by Shringi, that boy, Brahmana boy, actually he had the ability to counter curse and not being affected also by that. But he took it as an arrangement of the Lord, and he thought, let me now completely take shelter of the Lord. So for those 7 days he took shelter of Sukadeva Goswami and heard Srimad Bhagavatam and went back home, back to Godhead. So sometimes in our lives, when some tough situations come, it becomes really tough to accept those situations. But a devotee of the Lord, he sees it as arrangement of the Lord, as it is mentioned here. So then we will be able to take shelter of Lord. So another pastime, when I heard one devotee couple, I forgot his name, the doctor Chobati, one devotee is there, Vishwarup, yeah. So they had one child born, and she was not not healthy, and there were some problems in the child. So they went to the spiritual master, and His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and they asked that why such a child is born to us. So they were not able to understand why such a child is born. So Maharaj told them that see, actually when parents give birth to child, they have some expectations from the child, that my child should become like Prabhupada or something great devotee, and with that expectations we try to raise the child, that he will grow up and become great devotee and bring great name to me, something like that. So he said, generally parents grow the children with such kind of expectations. So, and when the child is normal, then obviously we take good care of the child. But now your child is not normal, he is abnormal. So you need to serve the child still without any expectations, although he is abnormal, and still you should give him the best of your love and affection. So that is pure devotional service. He said, Lord gave you the opportunity to render pure devotional service, so you should be grateful for that. So it is very difficult to see like that, generally. But great devotees can give us the vision by which we can see even the worst of situations as a golden opportunity to take shelter of the Lord. So normally ordinary parents or even devotees may get frustrated. I have been performing so much devotional service, so many rounds I chanted, or from so many years I am practicing, but why is such a child is born, right? So somebody may become upset like that why Lord is doing like that. But because these devotees took shelter again, like here King Anga is taking shelter of Brahmanas, same way they have taken guidance, so they could get the right vision of how to serve that child. So the devotees of the Lord, in those situations, if we get the right guidance, then we will be able to see it properly. So Lord Brahma prays in the 10th canto how a devotee sees the difficulties. Tate nukampa sushamikshu mana munjano evatma sukritam vipaga vidvava buddhir vividam namaste jivetaya mukti sadayebak. So this is a very famous shloka where it is mentioned that devotee of the Lord, whenever some very painful situations, difficulties come in his life, how he sees those situations, So, in those situations, actually a devotee thinks that because of my past sinful activities, actually I deserve much more punishment. But Lord, you are so kind that you are reducing that punishment and giving only little bit of punishment. And a devotee is grateful to the Lord for such arrangement, and with his body, mind and words, he serves the Lord even in that situation. He doesn't give up the shelter of the Lord. So actually, the test of a devotee's devotion is in trouble sometimes actually. The greatness of a person is known by his ability to tolerate provoking situations. So those provoking situations come because we are in material world, and we all have been staying in this material world from time immemorial, and we have been doing so many sinful activities so in the past. So definitely there will be some sinful reaction, karmic reactions, but still a devotee is grateful to the Lord that actually Krishna is so kind that he is reducing. Actually I need much more punishment, but Krishna is kind. Actually to think like that is very difficult. When punishment comes, when some painful situation comes, our false ego thinks, why like this? First thing which comes in the mind is, why me? Or why like this? Or if you compare with others, Hare, usko nahi hua. Why me only? Why Krishna is not giving such thing to others? Like first we think about ourselves and then we start comparing with others. Arey, unke life mein to aisa nahi hua. मुझे ही ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हैं भगवान, right? We start comparing with others also. So, and then we become frustrated and we are ungrateful to Krishna. So we may not say also externally, when difficulties come, we may not say externally, or sometimes people may even express if they are not very advanced. Some people even may leave Krishna consciousness also when too much difficulties come in their life. But sometimes some devotees express, or sometimes we may not express. But ultimately, Lord is, even if we don't express, Lord is seeing our consciousness. What is our state of consciousness when such situations come? Are we still grateful to Krishna? Or are we thinking, why this is happening in my life only? Why not with others? So such kind of consciousness is there, then we cannot make much advancement. But Brahmaji is teaching us that if we have the right state of consciousness, like how he is praying, then surely we can make lot of advancement. And such a devotee who is always grateful in all such situations, he is eligible to go back to Godhead. So we should all remember, material world is Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. It is not Sukhalayam, right? So definitely there will be some difficult situations in our life, right? And devotees should be ready to accept those situations in their lives, whatever is arranged by the Lord. So they are grateful to the Lord that, oh Lord, actually I need much more punishment than this, but you are so kind that you are giving so little, right? And actually we should deeply think about how we really deserve punishment. Most of the times we think how I deserve praise, how I need praise from others, or how everybody should recognize me. But we rarely think about how I need to be punished or how I need to be criticized by others for whatever wrong we have done, right? What to speak of physical activities? In the mind, if you start analyzing what all we think, right? Lord is kind that in Kali Yuga, He doesn't consider what we think in the mind. If He starts giving reactions for whatever we think in the mind, maybe I'll be dying right at the moment. So, Lord is very, very kind. But that doesn't mean that we have to take advantage. Kuch bhi chalta hai. No, not like that. We have to be careful, because whatever we think ultimately comes out in the form of words and actions eventually. So here in this purport, Prabhupada is teaching us, all of us, that how we should accept everything as the arrangement of the Lord. And if ultimately this is what Lord is arranging, then I need to accept. His Grace Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhu was once telling, in his life when a lot of difficult situations were going, so he asked His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj that how I should see all these difficulties. So Maharaj told, it seems that, see, this is whenever something is arranged, you should see it as arrangement of Lord. So if Lord arranged this, then we have to accept, right? If we are not accepting that, then that means we are not accepting Lord's controllership or whatever Lord's arrangement, right? Something happened in our life means that is arrangement of Lord. So we need to accept it gratefully, whatever is arranged. So ultimately we should realize that Krishna is the supreme controller, enjoyer, and whatever He arranges, we should be grateful. We should never ever become frustrated or think why such things are happening. So it is difficult, but that's why in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, if you see all the pastimes, or we can see most of the pastimes, we see how the devotees have undergone difficulties, provoking situations, right? Prahlad, Dhruva Maharaj, Pandavas, any Ambarish Maharaj, you take any pastime, there is all some very, very powerful provoking situation, not ordinary also. Like Prahlad, nobody is like provoked like that in the sense, or kept in such type of difficult situations. So why all these pastimes are given? So that whenever we are put in some provoking difficult situation, we can remember them. Oh, see, Prahlad was thrown from hilltops, and now nobody is throwing me, at least. Right? He was attacked with weapons. No, nobody is at least attacking me with any weapons like that, right? So many difficult situations. Pandavas have gone for vanvas so many years. Nobody has taken my wealth or told me to go to forest like that. Right? Still, situation is much better, right? So when we remember great souls, we get the inspiration that how even in such situations they have not given up the shelter of the Lord. So then we can get inspired by their activities, by their devotion towards the Supreme Lord in those situations, and we will not be disturbed. We can pray to them. So that's why we should regularly study and hear Srimad Bhagavatam, so that we can learn how to deal with situations which are coming in our own life. Many times we don't know how to deal with them. So then we get bewildered. But Bhagavatam gives us so many pastimes, so many situations. Literally all situations of our life are covered. Right? Most of the situations are covered. Right? So another one lesson I just want to tell and finish. Just like here King Anga was qualified and this Sunita was not qualified. So that's why the end result was this Vena. So same way, a guru may be very qualified, but if the disciple is not qualified, right, then the end result will not be there. You will not go back. Means somebody may have qualified guru, but if the disciple is not actually qualified, you will not get the end result. Just because I have got initiated from some very pure, great soul, pure devotee, that doesn't mean automatically I will go back to Godhead. We also have to qualify ourselves to go back home, back to Godhead. We have to practice Krishna consciousness seriously, chanting 16 rounds attentively, giving up the 4 sinful activities, avoiding the 10 offenses, all those things. So then when we qualify ourselves, then Guru will take us back home, back to Godhead, and you will get the proper end result. So that is also very important to remember. So thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.